Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of Overcoming Illness. I am Paula Denoncourt, founder and CEO of Enrich Your Health. I've been doing this show to help people with their health and get their stories out. We have had some amazing stories, and my guest tonight has been on before, so this is going to be part two. So I'm so excited to have her. But let me just tell you a little bit about me and about the show. I've been doing my business since about 2010. I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, speaking engagements, now my own TV show. I've written a couple books. But God, I'm still here. Activate Your Faith, Witness a Generational Turnaround is another book. Those are two separate books. I do customized recipes for my clients. I have digital ebooks and recipe books on my website. And I do that geared towards people that need specialty recipes, right? I suffered from multiple food allergies, so I do recipes that are like dairy-free, gluten-free, low in sugar, nut-free, all of that, because I had to do all that. So I make them simple. So if you're out there and you're like, I don't know what to eat half the time, I've got to eat gluten-free, I've got to eat dairy-free, please reach out to me. And you can reach out to me on Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger. You can email me at info@enrichyourhealth.com. That's ENRICHURHEALTH.com. Make sure you're following me on all my social media, Instagram, Facebook, especially those two. I do have some recipes that I'm putting together now. So I'm going to have more digital recipe books and ebooks for people that need anti-inflammatory. They've got autoimmune issues, Lyme disease, cancer, things like that. You need low sugar, you need anti-inflammatory. Maybe you can't lose weight. These kind of recipes will help you with that. So enough about me. If you've never seen the show before, go back and watch some of the replays, especially part one with Miss Kim. We've had guests on here that have had congestive heart failure, cancer, autoimmune issues, suicide in the military, autism. I mean, I can't even name them all. We've just had some amazing guests, and I'm so thankful to this platform, Elevation TV Network. So make sure you give them some love. Go like their Facebook group, go like their YouTube channel, like, subscribe, so you get other amazing shows along with mine, because they do have some great shows on their platform. So without further ado, the other thing is I am looking for more guests for my show. So if you're overcoming an illness, you've gone through an illness, maybe your mom, a spouse, a pastor, apostle, doctor, nurse, whatever it might be, you might have clients or patients that maybe you want to tell this story. You don't always have to use their name, or you yourself are going through something. People are waiting for your stories. They need you and what you have. So this is a good platform to get your story out and get things rolling, so that other people out there get inspired and encouraged, and they don't feel like they're so lost and alone and don't know what to turn to. So please reach out to me for that. You can also text me at 508-330-9665. And I do also do a business spotlight. So if you want to get your business advertised, we can advertise it on the show. We can advertise it on my platforms. I've got like over 4,000 followers on Facebook alone, so we can do that. And last but not least, besides health coaching, I also do business funding and some other business resources. So without further ado, I would love to introduce my guest today, Ms. Kim Broadway. So let me introduce her. Give me one moment here. All right, so tonight we have Miss Kim LaShaw Broadway. She is a native of Marianna, Arkansas. She completed Lee Senior High School and went on to attend and complete a degree from the UAPB in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Kim currently works with the Shelby County Public Schools as a full-time paraprofessional and is co-owner of a local boutique. Kim is also an aspiring author. Some of Kim's goals and aspirations include working to organize a group of women to learn about investments and how to develop and build revenue to support community programs for women. We're right up my alley. Kim will tell you that her most impressive and relevant achievement is that she is an 8-year cancer survivor. So awesome. In the year of 2014, Kim was diagnosed. She says it really changed her life for the better. She learned on this journey, if you loved life before cancer, don't be afraid to love it after cancer. I love that. She often quotes the word from John 10:10, I came that you may have life and have it more abundantly. I couldn't agree more. Kim is a mother and proud grandmother. She loves people, she loves networking, and most of all, she is a Christian and loves God. Me too. So without further ado, we welcome Miss Kim Broadway for the second time. So Kim, thank you and welcome again to being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I am honored to be here today. And I didn't really realize that it was 2 years that you interviewed me, because in the introduction it says I was an 8-year cancer survivor. So I actually made 10 years.
Oh, that's right.
Past March. So yes.
I forgot to correct that. Thank you for pointing that out.
I made 10 years. I didn't even think it had been that long, but it's been 2 years since we interviewed. So wow. This is really cool. Yeah.
It is really cool. So tell the audience a little bit about you. You grew up in Arkansas, right? We talked about that. Where do you live now? Tell us a little bit about your family, and then just give us a little bit background of how you found out that you had breast cancer. They can always watch the other show, but just give people a background that have never seen that show before.
Okay. I'll be more than happy to. Yes, I am Kim Broadway, like she said earlier, as she was introducing me. I am from a small town called Marianna, Arkansas, about 50 miles across the water, because the water divides the states from Arkansas and Tennessee. You have to come across the bridge. So I just always say I'm from across the track. But anyway, yes, I am a 10-year cancer survivor. I was diagnosed March 19th, 2014. Mm-hmm. And yes, that was a devastating day for me that I experienced in my life. And I just thank God today that I am still here. I'm an advocate, speaker about it. I have people that call me on the phone and say, hey, so-and-so got some cancer. Can you share your story with them? Because my story is rare. It's rare. And can you just tell them some things that you did and how you healed from it, blah, blah, blah. So I get that all the time. I get, friends, family members having me talk to other people. And I usually just try to give people a lot of encouragement and just tell them to stop, take a deep breath and think, because you're talking about your life and everybody's life is different. And I tell people that, chemotherapy, it was hard for me, but I can't say that it won't be hard for the next person, because I've seen people go through it and they go through it like that and they just like a champ, but right. It was different from me. So I always tell people, don't base your circumstances or your story on the next person's, because everybody's different. You have to do what works well or better for you. And I'm just going to share a little bit with you. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, I want to say probably 5 years after I had it, or it may have been between 5 and 7, because it hadn't been that, it's probably been about 5. Because she had a reoccurring situation. Her cancer came back. What's this, 2024, 23? I want to say it was 22. And what happened with mom she just had a lumpectomy, which means what a lumpectomy means is they go in and open up your breast and go to that particular area and they take out that, that part of the breast that's, infected. Right. Whereas I had a bisectomy where they took all of my breast tissues out, so I don't really have breasts per se. I wear implants. So my mother, she didn't want to, that was her choice. And I let her make her choice. So when the cancer came back a couple years ago, she was like, she was kind of, she had her moment, because everybody had a moment where you crushed because you're
Right.
trying to figure out what to do. But by me healing the way I did, and my mom, she lived in Arkansas, so pretty much my sister was here. Um, that really, really nurtured and took care of me. My mom came to help out, but she went back home. So a lot of things that I did and I experienced, she didn't see it because she wasn't here every day.
Oh, wow.
Whereas I just completely started to juice 4 times a day. I cut out all meat. I cut out all the stuff. I barely ate. I ate a green salad every day. Couldn't have cheese and meat. All I had was just a little balsamic dressing.
Mm.
I juiced 4 times a day. I had to go out and buy a juicer. And that was basically all I had that I could eat. I drank, was it 11.5? I started out with 11.5 at the time, alkaline water. And basically that was my regimen, because at that time I was doing a detox. And the detox was like an 8-day detox. I took 15
Mm-hmm.
75 pills a day. A lot of people doesn't even know anything about this because I never really opened up and discussed it. But now that we're in this new realm of the cancer industry, it's kind of like a lot of people are being a little bit more open to different things. I was open to it because I couldn't go through the process of the other side of it. Was too hard for me. I was literally ready to give up. So to piggyback on my mom, she decided, I'm saying all that to say this, and it was different because she didn't see a lot of stuff that I went through. She just heard me talk about it.
Mm.
She decided on the second go round that she wanted to try the chemo pill. Well, it's a pill, and you already know it's a chemo pill. Now that has been really, really going really, really well for her. She did tell me that she was experiencing a lot of discoloration, around her breasts and under
Mm-hmm.
armpits and stuff like that. And I just had to tell her, I said, look, you already know that's chemo, and you already know what chemo does. It turned your nails dark. It did me like that. And so, but she hasn't complained or anything. She was actually here a couple of weeks ago, and she went for a checkup, and everything was looking good. I didn't get to go with her, and my thing was I wanted to go. I think there was something else going on, and I didn't get to go because when she came from Arkansas, instead of coming to my house, she just went straight on to Mississippi to get to her appointment. So we didn't get to do all that day because I wanted to ask her doctor about how long does she need to take this medication? How long,
Mm-hmm.
take it.
Yeah.
Some people say they take it for 5 years, whatever. But that was my concern about how long. But so it's just mainly us two in my immediate family, as far as her brother and her sister-in-law, and that has had this disease.
So let's back up a little bit. So tell the audience how you first tell the audience how you first figured out that you had breast cancer, and then tell the audience how far apart was that you realized your mom had breast cancer? Was it before you, after you, how, like a year? Give us a time frame.
Okay, so my issue was I was diagnosed in 2014.
Yeah.
So my mom was diagnosed. So I'll say, give or take, it had to be about 7 years. I was about 7 years after, yeah. Um, but what I learned is, so that's about 14, yeah, about 7 years after I had it. But this is what I did. I went back and I'm trying to make sure I'm answering your question, but I'm also trying to point out something else. So if I leave out something,
That's okay.
just come back and just let me know so I can answer it. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me go back all the way back, because when I did go see the breast surgeon, you know how you see the breast surgeon, you sit around at this big conference table and you talk, and she get up and she pull up your x-rays on the screen so you can see
Mm.
them. And so I can remember all that stuff so vividly, but this is what happened to me, and I didn't understand back then. So I was in my 20s, early mid-20s.
Mm.
When I lived in Dallas, Texas, I lived in Texas for 10 years. I went to Baylor, I think it was Baylor Hospital downtown Dallas, and that was a doctor that I went to. His name was Dr. Prisky. I'll never forget it. I had a discharge from my left breast, the breast that has had the cancer on it. It was a bloody discharge, and every month it would come. I would have that. It seemed like when I had that, I didn't have a cycle, but I would have that blood, coming out. So what happened was I went for a checkup or something, and that's when all this came out. Well, they did a surgical procedure on me where he closed up one milk duct. The ducts were leaking from the breast. And I was young. I didn't really understand everything then. So I was just kind of like, okay. So they went in, they closed that one milk duct. I think it was about a month later, it started happening again. So I went back to him. They set up another appointment, and I went back, and he closed up all the milk ducts. And he told me, he said, you were so young. You have one child. My child was really small. He said, and I don't want to take this away from you if you decide to have more children and you won't be able to breastfeed, because that's an option that every woman wants to have, whether they want to breastfeed or not. Right. And so I said, okay. And so it was from that many years, I think it was, the doctor counted it out here in Memphis. When we were at the round table talking, I told her that, and she said, you know what? That was your sign then, that you were, this was your early sign of cancer. Then she said, now you see how long it took, 16 years to get to this. And I thought, wow. So that was a sign, but I didn't know that was a sign of cancer. I had no idea. I just thought, oh, this is a hormonal imbalance, blah, blah, blah. But that was the first sign of cancer. So that same breast that had the milk ducts taken, you see what I'm saying? That same breast had cancer, and then by the time I waited, I think it was 3 to 4 months before, from being diagnosed to actually having surgery, had gone by. I was stage 1. By the time I made it to surgery, I think I was a 3. I was probably a 3.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, I remembered some of the story, but I was like, let me have the audience hear how you were diagnosed, because to me it was so, I mean, I've done talks for breast cancer back in Massachusetts, and I've never heard a story like that, and I've talked to other people that we've had other guests on here with breast cancer. Never heard a story like that. So I wanted the audience to hear like how you diagnosed it, not you yourself, but got it discovered or diagnosed. Because it's just so different. Like, who hears of that? It's usually the norm is, oh, I had a lump, I got checked out. That's usually the norm. Or I have heard discharge, but not a bleeding discharge. So who would have, you know what I mean? Like, that's just so different that I wanted the audience to hear that again. Of course, if they didn't see the first one, it needs to be shared, because that's
and to have the bleeding discharge 16 years prior, because when I was actually diagnosed in 2014, I was probably a year or late on my mammogram, maybe 2, but I knew I had to get in there. And so when I got in there, they called me back and said they saw something on the mammogram. They wanted me to come back for a diagnostic, and the diagnostic is a more detailed, where you can actually see better in there. And so I looked on the screen that day, and I saw all these little dots, and I saw what's that? And it was like a lot of little dots, and then it was one big looking, funny looking thing sitting on the screen. And I said, what are those? And she said, that's it. That's what we're looking at. And so then when she looked at the other breast, which is the right breast, I said, well, what are those little bitty things? She said, those are calcifications. That means that it's starting over there in the right breast.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, oh, okay. And so when I was asked, because based on what they did, based on the statistics, I talked to another lady. She used to work for News 5, and she was really, really sweet. She shared her story with me. I have a friend I grew up with. She referred her to me. She said, I just want y'all to talk so maybe she can give you some input on some stuff. So she did. She gave me a lot of insight. She texted me like what a lumpectomy was, what a
Mhm.
bisectomy, because I didn't know what those terms meant. I
Right.
just didn't know, and I hadn't looked them up, but she texted them to me, and she just told me, when you go talk at the red table, when you go to them saying the red table, okay, Jada Pinkett, I'm sorry, but when you go sit around at the big conference table, you just make sure you ask questions, take somebody with you, because it's too much information to
Yeah.
retain. You're not going to be able to.
Right.
So what we did, we decided to record it so I could go back and listen to it. And so based on what they gave me on the statistics, it said if I have a lumpectomy, which means they'll go in and take the mass out, I had an 85% survival rate. If
Wow.
I have a mastectomy, meaning they will take all the breast tissues out of both breasts,
Mm.
I had a 98%
Oh, wow.
survival rate. So
Wow.
to me, that was a no-brainer because I said to myself, which one would you choose? It wasn't, I didn't think twice about it. I was like, okay, they breast. And if
Mm.
I don't have any, but I'm gonna live, then I don't it
Right.
take them off. So
Right.
that's how I arrived to that conclusion. That's how I arrived to it. So I was thinking, really though, it was a no-brainer. So
Mm.
being 14 years ago, with the cancer industry being so big and everything keeps evolving and evolving, some of the stories I hear now are a little different because technology is it always changes.
Right.
Technology is constantly moving and changing, you know, for the better. So a lot of things that they were doing then, they're probably not doing the same exact way now,
Right.
and that's just the norm. That's to be expected.
Yeah. Well, thank you for going back over that, like, how you got diagnosed, and then, like I said, it's just so unheard of. My mom had breast cancer, and she had lumpectomy. She said that was painful. That was really painful, she said. And then I don't remember exactly how many years later. So she had one breast removed, and then I forget, it was like 9 years later, 10 years later, I forget exactly. She had the other breast removed. They found cancer again in the other breast.
Oh, okay,
It was
okay.
way back. So I want to say it was like, I want to say like 1990. So
Mm-hmm.
just so, that's all they knew back then, was to just remove everything. There was no
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
reconstructive, there was no nothing, you know what I mean? Like, just remove it. So yeah, she went through a lot. It was a lot different back then. A lot different. Yeah, things have really changed.
They are. They really are.
Yeah. So tell us the journey. So now you've been diagnosed with the breast cancer. Tell us the journey, about a little bit about your prayer life, a little bit about just how you started to change your lifestyle. Did What were you doing for work? What are you? Well, you were doing what you do now, right? How did
Yes, I
that
was, and I
help
still am. Yeah.
your career, and then of course your eating habits? Just go from, your lifestyle, your eating habits. Tell us a little bit. You started to tell us a little earlier, but tell us a little more.
Okay. Based on the what I went through, just trying to heal by me having to heal that way, and not just be so open about it, because back then it was kind of a cliche, but it was my choice, and I couldn't, that was all I could say. Some people were like probably looking at me a certain way, thinking, oh, she might not make it, she quit the, but I laid on my face,
Mm,
I laid on my face, I cried out day and night to God. I said, what are you doing? I
yeah.
don't know what I can do, but God, I can't, this is too much. And I don't, and I just laid on my face, and I started getting confirmation after confirmation. So first confirmation I got was a customer called me. And because, I work in the school system, but I'm a boutique owner as well. So She
Right.
called me and I said, I asked her, I said, how you doing? She said, no, I'm calling to see how you doing. She said, what's going on? And so based on them telling me the reason why I chose to have a mastectomy, because that when I chose that option, that means I didn't have to do no chemotherapy or no radiation. And
Right.
that was another thing that I said, okay.
Yeah.
So then they were like, oh, it's a 17% chance. And I'm thinking, okay, it's always going to be a chance. It could reoccur. We all know this, you know. And so she called me to check on me. She told me about a situation where her sister-in-law had it and she had some kind of bone cancer and she chose to do the same thing. She couldn't do it either. I don't know what, she was an older lady, but she and I talked. She used to call and check on me every week. She and I talked and she was really, really sweet. And she gave me so much insight until I wanted to meet her. So one Sunday I met her at church. So I got a chance to meet her in person. But after I really saw her testimony of how she healed and what she did, it was a no-brainer for me to want to do that. And so that's what I did. And I went through it. But my prayer life, it was phenomenal and it still is. I try to have my time in the morning with the Lord. Because when school is in session, I'm on the floor by between 4:45 and 5 o'clock. 4:45, 4:30, I'll do my meditation, my quiet time, my prayer for the day. And I just know with a shadow of a doubt that God was leading me in this, in this endeavor. I know this. Because I was at my wit's end. I didn't know what to do because I was on my way for my fourth treatment and I had the hardest drug that they make. And I could not cry all the way there. And my mama said, Kim, what's wrong? I said, I can't do this when y'all just don't know. Even in the process of them administering the drug to me, it was just hard. It was hard to take it. It was hard for it to, I don't know what it is. That's why I don't judge nobody else because I just know I went through it because somebody else may be able to do. And I had so many confirmations. I met a girl in the store and she was like, oh, Kim, I wanted to call you. Oh, I wanted to tell you my husband, he do so and so, so. I mean, I met so many. It was like one thing after another, after another, after another, after another. And then it got to be so intense until I didn't have no, you know how you make a decision to do something and then you wonder, am I doing this the right thing? When I decided to go talk to the guy, the whole holistic guy, it was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I took a family, extended family member with me so that she could, just be there to witness what he was telling me to make sure everything was okay. And when we were done, I think we were in the office that day for 2 hours. When we were done, she looked at me. We got outside, and she said, I said, what do you think? She said, I say go for it. I could follow everything that he's saying. I don't see anything wrong with it. And you can still get extra help and still take your treatments. But I just chose not to do it that way. I just couldn't do it. And I don't knock anybody else because like I say all the time, everybody's body is different. Everybody's story is different. And I'm still here. I was in my doctor's office. This was a couple of years ago, maybe about three. No, it was more than a couple of years ago because we're beyond the pandemic and we're still in the pandemic. This was before the pandemic, so that means we've been in the pandemic 4 years. So that'd be about 5 years ago. I was in his office, and he looked at me and he said, "Miss Broadway, you are doing so well." Said, and I don't know. You just doing really, really good. He said, I got a lady now. She is 29 years old. She has stomach cancer and she is near death. He said she has 5 children. And I'm looking at you and looking at your journey and looking at what you did and what you done and what you've overcome. And he was just looking at me and in so many words, it's like he was looking at me and just like, what are you really doing? You know what I'm saying? In his mind, but I could tell he was ecstatic about it. He was excited, but he was just, it was a comparison there. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And to be honest with you, I know I changed my eating style. I know I started doing different. It was kind of like nobody had to really tell me, but because
Right.
I knew what I had to do to get there, I just knew that I had to make this change to be able to stay here. And that's
Mhm.
basically what it was, because I run into a lot of people that have this stuff and they go right back into same eating mode doing, and you cannot do that. You
No.
cannot live like that. You cannot
Yep.
do that. Now, holidays and special times of the month, I'm just gonna say this. You might eat something just like the holiday, you're gonna eat something, you might eat a piece of cake. Or you might,
Right.
but you know you're not gonna eat that stuff every day. You can't do that.
Right.
We cannot
Same.
do that. So I think that's just what it is with me. I changed a lot of stuff when I go shopping in the grocery stores. I try to stay out of the aisles.
Hmm. Yeah.
I go around to the produce. I shop on the outskirts of the store. If I shop on the aisles, I'm gonna dot in, go down the aisle, get what I'm gonna get, and I'm gonna come out. But I tend to do this in the grocery store. Everything I pick up, I read the back of the labels, I read the content. I've been doing it for so long, it's habit forming.
Hmm.
I know to do this. I'm gonna check the sugars and I'm gonna check the carbs
Yep.
first and foremost, because the carbohydrates, once it hit the stomach, it turns
Right.
into sugar. So if
Right.
it has, just give an example, give and take. If it has 50 grams of sugar and 20, no, just say if it had 50 grams of sugar and 50 grams of carbs, I'm just finna be outrageously. I'm just gonna
Right.
say, okay, that's 100 grams of sugar. That's a whole lot of sugar. That's an overload. Well, when you compare the drinks, a can of a Coke now versus or Sprite, when we were growing up, I remember seeing it all the time between 28 and 30 grams of sugar in there.
Right. That's
And
what I used to.
now it has doubled. It has doubled, and people are still drinking and doing stuff, but they're
Hmm.
not thinking consciously. And some people don't read labels. We never
No.
had to do that in the past, and they're not conscious that we need to do that now. And so that's just where I am. I hope I'm answering your questions, but that's
Yeah.
just where I am.
Yeah. No, it's so for people that don't know, sugar feeds illness,
It does.
cancer, Lyme disease, autoimmune issues, whatever. It feeds illness. So if we have an overload of sugar in our body, it causes the body to be acidic, and then we get illness. It can be, all different illnesses. It doesn't necessarily have to be cancer. So you
It's
need
true.
to limit your sugar when you have an illness. So another example of that, I've talked about it on my other shows. I've helped a lot in the Lyme disease community. Well, this woman was talking, sometimes you can get too much sugar in your fruits and vegetables, even, believe it or not.
You
So
can.
this woman was talking about how she kept eating carrots, but she had Lyme disease. She kept eating carrots. She's like, I don't know why the carrots make me feel so lousy. And I thought about it. I said, well, carrots have sugar. It's feeding the Lyme disease.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's a good vegetable, not saying don't eat your carrots. And also, full disclosure here, anything we say on tonight's show, not medical advice, not meant to treat, heal,
Yeah.
cure, mitigate any illness. Check with your doctor, especially if you do have an illness. Um, but yeah, she was eating carrots and she started to feel lousy. So things like a lot of autoimmune issues, when you just get an overabundance of sugar, it could be pineapples, it could be carrots, it could be processed sugar. Your body just, the illness is feeding off of the sugar. A lot of people get candida, and you're gonna feel lousy. You're definitely gonna feel lousy. Some people will get joint pain from the too much sugar. So I just wanted to kind of go back over that a little bit, how sugar can contribute to cancer, or other illnesses, Lyme disease, autoimmune, whatever,
True.
because it causes the body to be acidic. The illness lives in an acidic body. So that's why they always say a plant-based diet is so much better, because you're more alkaline. You're getting oxygen from the plants. Just like you put a plant in your home and you get oxygen from the plants.
On the plant. Mm-hmm.
That's why they say you feel better when you have plants like in your room and stuff, because you breathe better. You're getting that oxygen. Same thing when you eat it. You're getting the oxygen from the plant. And so it's it's helping your body deter illness. I'll just say it that way. You know, it's not to say you won't get ill, but you have a better chance of not getting ill. Because as we talked about earlier, there's so much stuff that they're putting in our food these days, it's hard to fight it. But you have a better chance as long as it's decent, decent food. You know what I mean? Like you don't want the processed stuff. So I just wanted to go over that a little bit. So let's talk about your journey. So did you find a holistic doctor? How long after, or a naturopath, or how long after you got diagnosed with the breast cancer you started going that route?
Actually, I would go every month. I would take a colonic once a month.
Mm-hmm.
If I needed any type of vitamins or any type of herbs in this office, I would go in there and make my purchase. And then I have a couple of other places that I can go to. And now I have a network online that I'm affiliated with that offers all the stuff, and it offers it at a discounted price where it's not as high, because I know it's expensive. And pretty much that's pretty much it. And I just stay active to paying attention to what's going on. I met a young lady yesterday, and she and we gelled really, really quick. And she gave me some information, and we decided we were going to exchange numbers, and we were talking about the food, and she was talking about some things that she had found out about some of the stuff that she was eating. And I was telling her some of the things I've encountered and as well. And it's gonna be now extremely harder since we're going through this situation with the food, based on where you're shopping and what you're buying. And a lot of people think some of the places that they're shopping, the food is just all that, but it's not. If you kind of keep up and read and stay on top of what's going on with it, you can kind of surpass it and survive it better. And we're going to have to be more knowledgeable about what we're actually putting in our bodies, what we're actually feeding ourselves. It's hard. I'm not going to tell you it's not. It is hard, because my grandbaby's been here this summer. She's been in and out. So, little kids got little stuff they like. So I got her some little things that I keep in there. She liked the little this popsicle things, and she liked sherbet, and I'll eat sherbet sometime. I looked at the contents on that sherbet, and I saw something on there that I said, oh, not this. Not this. And I usually try to avoid that in almost anything I purchase. I make sure if it has that in it, I just don't buy it. And I said, how did I not get past this one? And I said, oh, okay. So every once in a while, I may give her just a couple scoops until it, because we bought it already, but it was just one of those small containers of sherbet. But it's to the point now where I don't know what to do. I just do the best that I can.
That's all you can. Yeah.
I do. I learned how to really, what breakfast means is break fast. I wake up. I'm usually, like today, I haven't had my first meal yet, but I will after this.
Yeah.
I don't worry about it. And it's like, once you get your system to that, you get used to it. Because like the young lady I was talking to yesterday, she was saying the same thing. She said, because the longer you don't intake any food, the body heals inside. It clears the stuff up.
Yeah.
When you constantly putting it in there, that makes it harder to heal. That makes it harder to fight, And I started learning this stuff. I was sharing it with my sister, because we share a lot of stuff about food and stuff like that, because she used to be 300 pounds back in the day.
Oh my goodness.
She went to, I was 100, and I would say she probably was about 160, 140 or something like that. I don't know. She lost a lot of weight, but she's gained some of it back. But for the most part, she's never back. It's never just to the point where it's just out of whack. She'll go back and she'll try to get it back down. But yeah, it's a lot.
And the other thing too is part of illness too. So we talked about sugar, how that feeds illness. The other thing that contributes to illness, you kind of touched upon a little bit, is if we're not digesting our food, if we don't eliminate, that stuff builds up in our body, and that contributes to illness like colon cancer, digestive issues, IBS. It your body needs to keep, like babies, they're always like, they eliminate everything they eat. Every time, every time they eat something, it's gone. We don't, as adults, that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, that's true.
You should be you should be eating fiber. I mean, one thing I learned when I started studying nutrition, I didn't even know that like fiber is something, fiber is not just to help you eliminate waste, but it also fills you up, so it's both. It's filling, and we don't get enough fiber. So you're not eliminating the waste. Some people don't get enough water. Now they might get the fiber, they're not getting the water. That's going to eliminate the waste. So when you're not eliminating what you eat, it builds up. That's why you wind up getting, bloated all the time.
Yeah,
your body's digesting what you eat. So, and I kind of suffered from that with the allergies because everything just kept coming up. Wasn't eliminating what I ate, When it comes up, people wind up getting things like GERD or the food allergies, because sometimes you get leaky gut. It leaks out of the intestines and you're not digesting it. All those things contribute to getting ill. Things like cancer, colon cancer, whatever. I'm not saying you will get it, but it can contribute. That, other digestive problems, diverticulitis, all that stuff. So, you need to get the good fiber in your diet, good, protein. A lot of people think they don't get enough protein. We get too much protein. And when you have too much protein in your diet, that can leak calcium, especially meats. So you think you need all this calcium, but it's because of the protein that you're eating. So there's so many different things that we get like brainwashed into thinking, and it's not true. You just need to start eating healthier, and you would feel so much better. So yeah, thank you for sharing this. So tell us about the juicing. So when I studied, I took like raw food classes, and I studied how to eat whole foods without cooking. And we learned everything under the sun about juicing. So we learned about the different types of juices. Now this is a few years back, so they've, some juices have changed since then. But one thing I learned was, like, say a centrifugal juicer, like Jack LaLanne used to sell, it would juice a lot of juice, but you wouldn't get as many nutrients from that juice as you would like I think it was like a double gear juicer. So I wound up getting like an Omega 8006, and that will juice things like wheatgrass. It'll juice sprouts. The one that like Jack LaLanne used to sell, you couldn't do that. You couldn't do wheatgrass or sprouts. It would just kind of chew it up and it wouldn't juice it. So tell us about your juicing. Like, what kind of juicer did you use? What did you juice? I used to like to do, I used wheatgrass or sprouts, a little bit of apple, a little bit of ginger, sometimes some carrot. What did you juice?
Back then, because I had I bought it at Target. I can't remember. It was really, really big. And I hated it. So I don't like it because it's so big. I'm trying to get that J2. It's $500, but I'm gonna get that one. I just haven't gotten it yet, but it's fine. It's really, really good. But apple, I think it was I went online and studied Gerson therapy. Miss Gerson, I want to say her brother or either was her husband came up with the juicing back in the day. He used to have migraine headaches, and he never could get rid of them. And so they started juicing some kind of way. He was recommending it for the patients with stuff, and they were getting well. And he didn't think about it at the time, and I guess he started juicing. He was juicing too. But anyway, because their clinic is in Canada, they don't practice in the U.S. So I was on there. I was looking and learning the recipes, and they were saying for cancer, those were two she recommended was the green apple and carrot. And just the green juice itself. So it was the apple, carrot, and the green juice. Those were the two that I did when I was really, really sick trying to get well. And I just would do those 4 times a day. I kind of switched them up. I would do those. And so now we We got a juice bar here in Midtown. And so we got, it's kind of prevalent now. Like I'm saying, I've met people that do it. I met entrepreneurs that's they're working on that side of the spectrum. That's what their business consists of. They do juicing and stuff like that, and they sell to the public. So it's so easy to access it now. And I just got one of these mega bullets, and like my protein and I do one for the heart stuff, and it just consists of all the reds, because the reds are good for the heart, the raspberries and so it's a powder, and I can put that in and just put my favorite. It could be my favorite bev. Like I do pineapple juice and I do prune juice because it's good for my blood type. Yeah. So I put that in there, maybe a little water, and I put it in there, make a bullet, and sometimes I sit it in the freezer and just let it get really, really chill. And then I kind of do it like a meal. I have one for that I can do for the heart, and then it's another one that I buy. It's a night one, and it's a powder form. It has a mushroom in it. Mushrooms heal the gut. So what it does is it helps you with anxiety, and it helps you to rest. Because sometimes I have an issue with sleeping and resting at night, Right. So it helps me with that, and I can do that one at night before I go to bed. And I put it in there and whip it up, sit in the refrigerator, let it get really, really chill, give me a straw, and I chill. Because it's good, it's not bad or nothing like that. And so I'll do that. But when I was really, really sick, it was the apple, carrot and apple, and the green. Those were the two that the doctor recommended that I do. So those were the two that I did.
Yeah, I think people get caught up in they think they need like all these ingredients. You don't. Like even if you do a smoothie, even if not juicing, even when you do a smoothie, you only need like 4 to 5 ingredients. A lot of people, oh, I gotta put yogurt. I gotta put no. I would do like water. What I do is frozen fruit, because I just take some mango. Like I made like a really nice ice cream. It was mango, pineapple, frozen, a little bit of basil, and a tiny bit of honey. That, you talk about sherbet, that is just like a sherbet, and it's amazing. People love that. So easy to do. You go buy your frozen fruit. I mean, you can freeze your own fruit, whatever you want. Do either one, but it just makes it easier because you just throw it in the blender. You don't need ice. Now fruit. So yummy. Just a little bit of basil, mango and pineapple, and honey. Really good. So you only need like 4 to 5 ingredients. So if you're making a smoothie, you could do strawberry, blueberries, banana, maybe a little bit of greens, because greens keep the blood sugar from spiking. So when we talked about this before we came on, keeps you from craving more sugar. So if you're doing like smoothies and all you keep throwing in there is sugar, even if it's fruit, you're gonna crave more sugar.
Yeah, that's true.
But the greens help satiate you. Like I noticed that I was juicing for the first time in my life, but I used to always want something else after I ate. I'm like, I wasn't like full, you know what I mean? When I started juicing with the greens, I was like, for the first time in my life, I'd eat a meal and I didn't want something else. It was the greens that was helping that. Yeah. So there's a lot of things we can do that we just don't know. You don't know what you don't,
That's true.
Yeah. A lot of people think, oh, to eat healthy is expensive. And in the beginning it might be, but you're going to start not craving all that other garbage. Like I was telling you earlier, soda back in the day, they started putting more salt in it. So you would drink more because you're thirsty. And same with like bars, they have a trick too. They put out salty stuff so that you're thirsty for more alcohol. You want more beer or whatever. They put out salty peanuts or popcorn. Why do you think they have salty foods? Because you're going to be like, I'm thirsty. So you're going to buy more alcohol. You're going to buy more beer or whatever, whatever it is you're drinking there. It's a trick. They like to trick us.
That is so true.
They like to trick us. So tell us about your diet now. So how are you eating for your blood type now?
Actually, I started doing the blood type last year. I had a friend, she her hand stayed, it would just swell and it would hurt really, really bad. And she had gained a little weight. She was a little thick. And she would say she was so miserable from that hand would just bother her because it would throb all through the night. And I happened to go over her house one day and I hadn't seen her in a while and she had lost all this weight and she looked so good and her skin was so, it was just glowing and glossy. And I was like, what happened? What did you do? Because I mean, she wasn't obese or anything or really, really big, but I knew she had, it was like, wow. And so she said, I started eating by blood type. She said, Kim, I was just so sick. I was miserable. I just, my hand would throb all night long. And I said, wait a minute, what's going on with the blood type? So she started talking to me about it. And so at that time, every time I go over the house, she feed me if she cooking. She's like, come on, sit down. I already fixed something. And I said, what you got? She said, just sit down. I'm going to surprise you. I want you to eat. So she had this codfish. She seared it in the skillet. I think she used like some walnut oil. And she just kind of let the skillet get hot. She seasoned it. And she just seared it and flipped it over, until it got done. She had that. She had some baked sweet potatoes and she had some greens. And we sat down at the table and we were talking and she had these little ice cubes with pineapples, juice, and blueberries. And she just put it in the tray and froze it. And she said if she wanted a little snack, that would be her snack. So they had like a cheat sheet online. You could get the cheat sheet for your blood type. So her blood type was O positive. And so she was telling me, she said, you need to find out what your blood type is. I said, I used to know it. It used to be on my driver's license, I think. She said, yeah, I think it probably was a long. I said, but it's not on there. So anyway, so one day she said, if you want it, I can do your blood type. Just get the test. You get the test from Amazon. So I went over there.
Wow.
It's on Amazon. I went over there one day and she did the little blood test and you put your when you prick your finger, you put your finger on those it's some little circles on the little card.
Yeah.
And so she did that. And it took about 10 minutes. And she said, oh, you O positive. So we were the same blood type. So that made it even better for me because certain questions I just text her or ask her and she sent me a picture of it. I was like, what kind of fish was that? She sent me a picture of it. And so I started eventually. It took me a minute to get started on it just to see how I was going to really, really feel. And I saw the difference. So when I looked at the cheat sheet, we call it a cheat sheet, but it's online. And she sent it to my phone. All the stuff that I was eating that I liked, that was some healthy choices, wasn't good for my blood type. And I said, oh my God. So back here, I was talking to the apartment manager where I lived. And one day she just, I don't know how we got on it. And she asked me something and I said, I started trying to do blood type. And she said, oh my God, Miss Broadway, I have really been studying it. She said, it makes so much sense. I said, it make a lot of sense because, okay, just say for instance, I love, I love cabbage because cabbage was one thing I ate all the time. I'm a master at frying cabbage. I can fry the heck out of some cabbage and make you want to call your mama and slap her. I'm serious. I'm talking about good. They be like, how did you do that? So I said, you mean to tell me I'm not supposed to have cabbage? Cabbage was the one I couldn't eat. So I quit buying it. I would buy cabbage all the time because I told you I stopped shopping in the produce section.
Right.
I had to take cabbage off. I can have collard greens. Thank God for that. And so I said, this makes so much sense. And we was talking. She said, makes sense because just think about it. Your favorite thing you constantly eating, but it's not good for your blood. And what makes up the inside of your body? Your blood. And where in the disease started forms what? The blood. It's in the blood. It's blood. When you think about it, it's like everybody in the world should be doing it. Think about it. Everybody, we all should be eating by blood type, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
So it just made more sense to me. So what I did was I just started, when I go to the grocery store, I mainly set my eyesight on what I can have. I wasn't crazy about pineapple juice and prune juice, but that's mainly what I buy. I'm serious. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
be, and I learned how to. It's all right. I'll give me some and sit in the freezer and chill it, and just have me a little glass, a cute little glass. It's all up here. It's in the mind.
Mm.
You know, once you set your mind on what you really need to do, you just do it. You just do it. And I'm good with it. I wasn't too cool with the red meat. The red meat is a meat that I can't have. I can't have catfish. I love catfish.
Oh,
When they said cod, salmon, too, what is it? Salmon, cod, all of the other type of fish I can have. Whiting I don't like. And I just said whatever. So I haven't had catfish in from that day to this one. I don't even pick it
mm,
up. Maybe one time. I think I had some one time. Um, what else was it? The ground beef. I kind of got skeptical of the ground beef when I saw in the news about some things they were doing I didn't like. But
mm-hmm.
like a roast, I'll take a roast and what I do with red meat, I soak the blood. I let it soak for some hours. And if you let it soak in the water, you look at the water, blood, it's the blood is in the water. So I try to soak as much of it out of it. Then I wash it again and I season and I cook like a roast or something like this sometime. I don't eat it a lot, but I'll try to, I think alternate for me, I can do chicken as an alternate. I can do turkey as an alternate. So just say I'm fixing a meal and I'm doing an alternate, I'll do an alternate. I think we get caught up in the things that we really like that we feel that we can't do without. And I love cornbread. I don't mean no harm, but I love cornbread. So every once in a while I might eat some. I'm not gonna sit up here and say I don't. I don't eat none.
Right,
I eat a piece here and there. But I had to just it's all up here. You just gotta
right,
get your mind to the point. You make your mind up that you wanna live and eat to live.
right. Dr.
Eat
Carmen.
to
Yeah,
live. Because when you eat the right stuff that's going to make you be here, you're eating to live and not just the other way around. So I had to do that. I know we have fun. We're going to have our day. We might treat ourselves to something. I don't knock nobody out. I feel like we all should do that. But you just
absolutely.
can't make it a habit. It cannot be something that you do repetitiously over and over and over. If you do, it's going to be some different consequences. That's basically it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, when I took my raw food class, we kind of came up with a saying: if you eat alive, you feel alive, and you stay alive. If you eat dead food, you're gonna feel dead or wind up,
Mm-hmm.
So we used to say things like that, or my tagline used to be strive for a healthier diet and lifestyle because I know, like you say, I'm guilty too. Hey, if I want a donut, I'm gonna have a donut. If I want a
Mm-hmm.
cookie, I have a cookie. But am I gonna do it every day? I
No.
can't. I can't. It would just like I'd be 6 feet under. I just can't do it, you know. But this has been amazing. I mean, we've only got a little bit of time left, so tell everybody um where you're at now, how you help people, where they can reach you. Tell us a little bit about your businesses, your books, anything you want to share.
Oh, okay. I am. Well, everybody know I'm an advocate now because I'm an author,
Hmm.
and I wrote my story on breast cancer. It's out there on Amazon. If anybody purchased the book or would like to purchase the book is Embracing Life More Abundantly After Cancer, Living
Hmm.
in My Pink. It has to be Living in My Pink. That's the right copy. There's another copy out there, but that's not the right copy. And I must say this: by the time October come, I have this done. That I one copy I need to have them to take the first copy down because it had an error on the bio. The book is beautiful. It's the same book, but it just added to the book.
Right.
I added like 2 or 3 more chapters, and then I'm probably gonna do something else with it later. But yeah, I added to the book, and I actually really like it, and I wanted it to be corrected like it needed to be. Um, I'm just excited. I've already booked my another interview for October. It's already on the calendar.
Good.
And usually I do the news, and she's supposed to do, I need to reach out to her because she wanted to do a close up and personal interview with me. She said, I've been on the phone with you. I want to do something where I'm right there where I can shoot you and I can look at you. Maybe we can walk or we can be outside or something. So I don't know. I'm just praying that that comes through. But what
Mhm.
I'm doing is everybody knows I'm a boutique owner. So what I decided to do, I do business as Lachey's Lifestyle Boutique because I'm the fashionista.
Mm.
And when you think about boutique, you think about looking good and feeling good. You feel like you got on your best outfit today or your best hairdo today, and you can go get your hair done, and it makes you feel what? It makes you feel good.
Right.
So you want to feel good, but you also want to look good, and you also want to be good as far as your health is concerned.
Right.
So I'm actually liquidating a lot of my items, and I'm trying to take my boutique over to a different. I'm just trying to actually what should I say, merge the two where they make sense. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
So when you say embracing life more abundantly, living in my pink or anything that's dealing with health, wealth, caring. So we like looking good. We already know that. But you also want to feel good as far as your body is concerned. So maybe a healthy vitamin, maybe a body butter or cream or something good for
Mhm.
your hands. They got stuff now that's good for aches and pains, stuff you can rub, anything like this. So
Mm.
what I plan to do in the future is something that's in the process. I'm in the process of doing this now. Um, just kind of take the boutique to a different level for me, where not just have clothes and earrings and stuff on my site, but have those type of items. A journal.
Mhm.
Somebody could be going through something, and they may want to purchase a journal for somebody that's going through something. Somebody may want to purchase the book I do the pink pearls, so they will always be on there. But just it'll be like apparel and stuff. But I want other items. I want a candle. A candle can make you feel really good. You could take a nice warm bath, or you want to light a candle, you want to come home, you want to relax, you want to read a book. Anything of that magnitude is where I'm trying to go with
Mm.
the boutique, because I still can have this, but I just want to be my own way. I can create this to be what I want it to be. And that's what entrepreneurs do. That's what we do.
Right.
That's what we do.
Right. And I think I mentioned this on other shows. I don't know if it was on yours, but we had a photographer in one of my business groups back in Massachusetts, and he would do like these boudoir sessions, but they were like very classy. And every once in a while he'd do it, and like we had a couple of people that had cancer, breast cancer. They loved doing that because they felt so beautiful. They were just, it just made them look beautiful. They were all made up.
Mm-hmm.
Hair was made up. They had on like beautiful lingerie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like with your boutique, you could have like a special night where they dress up in these clothes, these earrings, have their hair done, have like photos made up for Christmas, for whatever. I mean, I know it's July, but Christmas is right around the corner, or a birthday, special birthday gift. I don't know. Sky's the limit, business, business professionals, whatever. But you could use your boutique to do special like photo shoots. So hook up with some photographers in your area. I'm sure they would love it. It would give them business, and then people, especially people that have had illness, doesn't always have to even be cancer. It just makes them feel so good to get dressed up and hair done and makeup. So you would need to connect to photographers, hairdresser.
I got a photographer, I got a hairdresser.
That's
So
yeah, and somebody does makeup. That's all you
thank you
need.
for the idea. I got somebody that can do the
Oh
makeup.
God,
Oh wow. I didn't think about see
it's
how
all
we
God.
see what I'm talking about?
What
Mhm.
we used to do at the boudoir, but it doesn't have to be limited to that. Do you know what I mean? Like
That's true. That is so true.
just use your boutique to, you know what I mean? Make people feel good. People going for interviews, they might need to be dressed up, whatever. I mean, look how many people are looking for jobs today. They need help. They need help
That's
getting dressed
so true.
to go for a job. They don't know how to dress for a job. what colors they should wear, what I don't know, this is all just coming to me. But so it's all psychological. You should wear certain colors when you go for an interview. You should wear certain attire.
That's
You
true.
you
That's
can help
true.
people do that. Yeah. So either with you could go a couple different ways: illness, business, people looking for jobs. You know, let God lead the way. But
That's
I
so
would,
true.
yeah, definitely connect with some photographers, and yeah, you could do that. Have like a special night every now and then. What are we in July? Maybe do something. Start October with breast cancer month. You know, start advertising it now.
That is so good. You're right.
Yeah.
You are so right. That is
Yep.
one.
And then you could have a little bit more to offer. Oh, this is all just coming to me. Lord help me.
Mhm.
But then
Mhm.
you can offer the other things for sale when they come. So like the candles, the journals, get a picture with the journal and the candle when you come. Like if you had, like say it wasn't like for cancer patients in October.
Mhm.
You get
Mhm.
a candle with a journal when you come with your photo. So they get like this package deal. I'm still, everything's just coming. There could be like more. You could auction off a travel thing or something, give them a trip for a weekend. And then any of that money, if there's anything extra, you could always donate to one of some kind of cancer organization if you
That's
wanted.
true. That is so true.
All this just like came to me. I'm like, I'm seeing like this big picture of like all the merchandise that you have, you get it going by doing a night like that. Get the photographer, the makeup person, the hairdresser, sell some stuff, and then you could and you could even auction off some stuff, you know,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
raise some funds for a cancer organization of your choice. Anyway, I don't know where that came from. God just
I don't
this
know,
big
but I love it, and I think like this. I think on the level it came from up above.
absolutely.
It came from up above. We just talked about that earlier before we came
Yeah,
on. So yeah, it came
yeah,
from up above.
absolutely. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Last but not least, how can people reach you?
Question again.
How can people reach you and follow you?
Oh my God, go to my pages. I have 4 pages. Kim Broadway is the main page. And y'all, this is what happened. I created a group page and I realized one day I looked over there and I had so many more followers on my regular page. I was like, wait a minute. So I just hop over there on that page. I'm over there
Mm,
all the time. So Kim Broadway, Beautiful Boutique Babes. That's out of my little personal group page. And they pretty much are on all the pages. And then I have Lachey's Lifestyle Boutique, that business page, and it's really, really growing. All of my pages are doing well. Now the content is getting higher.
mm,
And I have a Lachey's Lifestyle 2 page. I just opened up probably about 4 months ago.
okay.
So I'm still learning this social media, AI, and all of this stuff as we
Me too.
speak. But I'm loving what I'm learning and seeing, and it's
Mm,
just like I try not to get overwhelmed. I just take a
right.
day at a time. Like yesterday, they still trying to help me complete my dashboard, and so I was like, I'll go in there every day and I'll do something, and then if
Mm.
I get stuck, I say, okay, it's time to take a break. As long as I can accomplish one thing, I'll go back to it and I push something else out because it's trial and error. You gotta, you can't overwhelm yourself, especially if you got a lot of things going on and it's me and it's just me, so I have to, I take it in stride. And I look up one day and I was like, oh, I did all this, oh cool,
Mm,
kudos to me. So
yeah.
yeah, so Kim Broadway, Lachey's Lifestyle Boutique, that's the business page. Just reiterating, Beautiful Boutique Babes and Lachey's Lifestyle too. You can find me at those pages. Anybody can reach out to me. You can message me, inbox me. I check my inboxes periodically throughout the day. On the day I do, I check every day. If you in the city and you want to shop, I do take appointments because when school starts, I'll be back at work in the daytime. So most of the time now, I try to go in from 10 to 4. If I'm not there or I need something to do something else, I just get there when I get there because I do
Mm,
take, I take walk-ins. People can come through, but if you make an appointment, the address is 1123 South 3rd Street, and we're in Suite A. And address, Memphis, Tennessee, 38106. Telephone number. Oh, I have another number, y'all, I like to give out. I don't have it in my head. I'm sorry about that. But just inbox me, everybody. Just inbox me. Some people do have a lot of people do have my number. They do have it. I'll go ahead and give it out. It's 901-619-1526. I just try to keep the business number where it needs to be and the personal number where it, but it is what it is. But yes, I'll definitely reach out, especially coming up to breast cancer month. I promote my pink pearls, and a lot of people have their day at church where they wear the pink, to represent. Some people do stuff at work. Some people go to events. So if anybody looking for anything that you want to, accessorize with to represent breast cancer month, feel free to reach out to me.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being on. This was amazing once again. I'm just so grateful that you came on for part 2. I learned so much just listening to you again. I mean, it's just been amazing. So thank you so much. And once again, everybody, I am looking for more guests to come on the show with their stories, whatever you've gone through. We need your stories. I do provide business funding. I provide recipes, customized recipes. So if you're a practitioner out there, you've got clients or patients that need recipes, please reach out to me. Once again, you can do that at info@enrichyourhealth.com by email, or you can text me 508-330-9665. And if you want to be in the business spotlight, reach out to me and we can do that too. So thank you again, everybody. Thank you again, Kim. This was amazing. We will see you next Sunday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.